Hello and welcome back to the channel. Well, today's build I have for you is this from Kazi. This is the Jagdpanther 4, not Jagdpanther. But before I get into this, I just wanted to have a word about the current situation that has been going on with Sluban. Obviously, anybody who watched the previous video that I did knows that Sluban had been re-uploading my videos onto a Chinese video sharing video platform called Bilibili. Now they've taken about half a dozen, maybe 7 videos, and even though I'd tried to put a copyright claim in against them, I'd heard nothing back from Bilibili. Well, just to update you on what's happened since I released the last video, is that somebody has, one of the viewers, managed to get hold of one of the managers higher up in Sluban and inform them what was happening. And as a consequence, Sluban have actually taken down their whole site on Bilibili. They've wiped every single video, not just of mine, but all the others that they've done. So I'm guessing somebody in their marketing department, or whichever department it is that covers the videos and things like that, has had a bit of a telling off. So we'll see what happens. Apparently they're supposed to be reaching out to me, but we'll get to that in due course, I'm sure. Let's see if they do or not. But anyway, I thought I'd just let you know what the score is. So the result, I'm quite happy with that. And as I say, today we've got this Kazi Jagdpanther 4. So usual format, 60-second speed build, some pics, and then we'll get into the review. So let's crack on and build. Welcome back. Right, Jagdpanther 4. The instructions, the biggish book, which is always quite nice, just makes life a little easier sometimes, especially when you're old and you've got decrepit eyesight. Does have a on the page, parts list in the back, always nice. To be honest with you, they're actually some of the best instructions that I've done for some time. They're very, very clear, and in fact, overall, the build on this was a joy to do, because it was just, there was nothing. Sometimes some of the builds that we do, or I do anyway, certainly on because I do a wide variety of manufacturers, some of them seem to almost go out their way to make the build as difficult as possible in the choice of bricks and the building method and all that type of thing. This was the total opposite. This was an absolute joy to do. Now, there was nothing missing, nothing warped, nothing discoloured. Always good. Which pains me to say that while they've got so much of this right, they've forgotten the most important thing, and that's to get it accurate. And unfortunately, that's really where this thing it lets itself down. Now all through this, obviously I tend to put some pictures up in the corner of the real thing, and you'll see very clearly, particularly when I put it on the side there. Let me just take off one of the side skirts there. They're printed, they're not decals or stickers or anything like that. So on the side, I mean, this is based on the Panzer IV. This is essentially to the Panzer IV what the Stug 3 is to the Panzer III. So there should be lots and lots of similarities, and unfortunately the big difference is really here at the front. I mean, that's really long, this part here. The upper glacis, not quite right, but I could have lived with that. This needs to be shorter and this fighting compartment here needs to be brought forward to about this sort of point. So we're looking at 2 to 3 studs forward, and what that would have done, that would have elongated this area above the engine. Obviously you can see the radiator intakes there, and that would have allowed that to have been a lot longer. And also what it probably would have allowed it to do is to just angle it ever so slightly down, which wouldn't have been a particularly difficult thing to do. They've managed to angle this part ever so slightly up, and that is rock solid, no issues there at all. And in fact the whole thing is very solid. There's nothing fragile here, which is fantastic. But yeah, this just needs to be, this needs to be longer. If this was the 2 to 3 studs longer, ever so slightly angled, this was shorter, the whole thing at the top moved forward, it would have been fab. Which is why, as I say, it's painful to say that Kazi have got they've got all the bits, but they just don't add up to the right results. It really is 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 7 instead of 6. It's just such a shame. I really wanted to like this, as I say, because the build was so nice to do. I also wanted to like it because it's something you don't see every day. It's not a T-34, it's not a Tiger, a Panther, a M4, a T-34 or anything like that. And I can't, yeah, as much as I enjoyed making it, I can't, if you're into the accuracy of your models, I can't recommend it, which is such a shame. And the other thing, but I can sort of forgive them for that, is these side skirts, the panels on the side. They are too thick, but obviously because of the bricks they have to be at least two bricks wide to give it some sort of strength, which would mean that if you scale this up to real life, this would be something like 150mm to 200mm thick, which obviously in real life it wasn't anywhere near that. So yeah, it's such a shame. Now the price comes in at £12.36 landed in the UK. So convert that to whatever currency that you're from. It's not a bad price. It's a reasonable size model. If I get the Panzer IV by Guangzhou, obviously this is what it would be based on. Well, you can see for a start here the very front how it differs, and that's really where this needs to be. And in fact, actually comparing the two, and this I compliment it on its accuracy, the back end here needs to perhaps be another 2 studs with the spare fuel tank and whatever just pushed out ever so slightly. If you've done that, you've given this another 4 to 5 studs ever so slightly angled coming down. I would be raving about how good this is, but it's just not quite there. As I say, such a shame. Good price, good model, And as I say, props to Kazi for doing something different. I really like that a lot of companies now are starting to move out and away, probably because they're having to. The market is it's obviously very saturated, and there's only so many times you can sell a Tiger or a T34, etc., etc. So good on them for trying something different, and I really do hope that if anybody from Kazi sees this, please take it as constructive criticism. You know, you were so close on not just this, but some of the other models. The Admiral Hipper that I did by Kazi. Yes, I wasn't particularly keen on the whole camo scheme, but again, props to them for trying something different. But there, on the Admiral Hipper, the superstructure was fantastic. The hull was fantastic. The trouble was that they didn't match each other, and therefore one pushed the other one out, and it didn't look right. You know, the hull. If you kept the superstructure, the hull needed to be 6 to 8 studs longer at the very least at the back, and probably 2 at the front. Or you reduce the size of the superstructure. They just weren't quite right with the scale. Again, something similar to this. So, I mean, if you've got some spares, if you've got some time, and you've got a bit of knowledge and you're prepared to do it, I still think that this could form the basis of a proper Panzer IV, Jagdpanther IV, by a bit of tinkering. As I say, reducing this, pushing this forward, lengthening at the back, angling that, and I think you'd have something really, really nice. But in its current form, I can't really recommend it unless you plan on doing that tinkering with it and adjusting almost everything. So there we go. Today's model, the Jagdpanther IV by Kazi. Really not adding up to the sum of its parts, unfortunately. It's a shame, but there we go. Now, hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, please like and subscribe to the channel. And you take care. I'll catch you again. Bye bye.